I don't actually need these on. What am I doing? I can take these off. This isn't a community playdate. I can rock the not headphones. I think my stream window is broken, but I think everything is working. So let me put the link where it goes. Hello, comrades, and welcome to another episode of Under Construction. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. Tolbrand Peninsula. There we go. So I'll put that where it belongs. And now I will be a little bit... you know what? Let me shut this door also. One second, folks. How's that? That's better. Welcome, comrades. Let me actually adjust my windows. Let me make sure everything is all copacetic. Gloria is already yelling at me. So we're off to a great start today. Yep, okay. And we all know how this begins. So, I don't really have, like many weeks, I don't really have a plan. That is a terrible start. My only plan is to play some not Tetris and wait for people to file in, and we'll see what goes from there. I think we were making excellent amounts of headway last time. So, I might try to expound upon that, do more stuff around the neighborhood. I don't really want to get rid of my little warehouse section. I was staring at that before we started. And by that, I will point it out when we get there. For those who don't remember that whole thing of sticking the warehouse into the back of the other warehouse and then realizing I had no way to get tracks there. I think it's the E-Man. I guess I'm the E-Man. I come two before G-Man. I'm the wrong man in the right place instead of the right man in the wrong place. Or whatever the saying is. That was atrocious. That was terrible. We don't want that to happen more. Let's put this over here. I can't believe I've screwed up vertical blocks that badly. Well, that was kind of smooth, though. That was very not. That was actually very bad. We don't want to do that more. Oh, shoot. We get a free line out of that anyway. Alright, I'm not going to complain. And we get another one. Stack this up here, but it might fall over because of the shock of landing. And we're just getting single free lines, which I don't know if I should be like really happy about that or kind of bummed that we're wasting lines and not getting like Tetrises or double or triples. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, get that in. Oh. But I mean, I was close to on time today. So there's that, you know. We'll take that away. We'll be happy with that. Oh no, bollocks. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. And then... Okay, once again, just a single line. Not sure what kind of chaos that's going to cause. Can I get more than one? No, that's not going to be enough. Stack this on top. Just like build up one side and then see if you can tear it all down at once. The other day, the History of the Soviet Union Arranged the Melody of Tetris came on Iron Horseman Radio. It's one of those songs that, like, I own it, right? I have it on my iPod, but I don't usually listen to it. I tend to skip it. It's very long. It's a song off of YouTube originally, so it has a couple of weird artifacts that make it a little less fun to actually, like, listen to. But I just, you know, I just put it on. I just let it play, I should say, because I don't put things on the radio, not unless it's a special day and I'm spending the day messing with it. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Iron Horseman Radio. Oh, hi, Pat. I'm glad to hear that you survived the tornado. Iron Iron Horseman Radio is a special thing on our Discord server where it plays music all the time from a playlist that is generated by the people on the server. I'll spare everyone the more detailed explanation of how songs are selected, but every day one person on the server gets to pick a song, goes in the playlist, and that playlist plays forever. Hello, Mr. Railyard. Not much is up for me aside from I have set myself the arbitrary date of April 22nd in order to get the next batch of trading cards out for sale. The reason I have done that, well, I suppose it isn't completely arbitrary, but the reason I have done that is we are hosting a Scale Trainz meet and greet. And by we, I sadly do not mean the Iron Horsemen, but I do mean the Providence Northern Model Railroad Club. So if you happen to be in the neighborhood of Warwick, Rhode Island, or really Rhode Island at all, because it's Rhode Island, as long as you're not on the wrong side of the bridge, if you're from around, you know what I mean if you're from here. As long as you're not on the wrong side of the bridge, feel free to swing by and come see Scale Trainz. I hear there will be giveaways and shenanigans. Visit the layout. Come buy trading cards. I'll have them for sale. But all the things that I'm talking about are available both on our website, theironhorseman.com, are accessible via the website, and our Discord server, which is accessible via the website, theironhorseman.com. I'm in Michigan. I wish I could come. I assume Scale Trainz already passed through Michigan. I think they have, like, most of the east left to do. If only Rhode Island was real. Pat, you... Shut up, you face. You're gonna... Oh, man. Someday you'll visit and you'll find out just how real it is. And by that I mean you'll come here and we will immediately leave to go to Maine. Because 2 foot is what the people want. Hey TJ, what can I do for you?
Is there any pasta that I could use to make, I was gonna pour some of that leftover lemon sauce. Is it pasta?
There's not uncooked pasta, or there's not cooked pasta, but there's tons of pasta in the top of the cabinet.
Yeah.
You can use any of that.
Yeah, yeah.
You're welcome. I don't think Gloria has plans for any of those kinds of pasta. Maybe ask them, but I think you're in the clear. Oh shoot, no! Oh, I hit the wrong button. I spun it the wrong way. It fit in anyway, so that worked. And this, ooh, that was nice. I once again have forgotten what our high score is. But yeah, if I am really trying to get the batch of trading cards out, or at least ready, by the time that rolls around. Is it possible? I'm honestly not sure. But I'm gonna do my damnedest. Now, some of the photos might not arrive here until the end of this month, and with that in mind, I might not even have, like, you know, a week with them before I have to send the cards to printing, get them here with whatever the slowest shipping is, and then do or whatever the least expensive shipping is, because I don't want to have to raise my prices. $6 a pack is already sort of more than I'd like to charge. I understand that for, you know, at a certain point, the price point doesn't really matter all that much, but I just, you know, this isn't a for-profit venture for me. I know I've said that 100 times, but this is a hobby. You know, I charge people because it costs money to make them. If I could give them away for free, I would. Anyway. I don't know if there's so Mr. Railyard asks if I think there's a full bucket line, or there could be a full bucket line in Trainz. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm the wrong person to ask, honestly. Despite the fact that I made the Iron Horseman Chronicles, I was never much of a fan of the full Buccaneers. Even considering the fact that one of the working titles for the Iron Horseman Chronicles was the Empty Buccaneers. Oh, we're so screwed, guys. It's Jover. Oh. But yeah, no, when we started production on the Iron Horseman Chronicles, I was told, oh, go watch the full Buccaneers. It's a big piece of my childhood. It's it's one of the best like train series. It's one of the best like train simulator machinima sort of series there are, and I can't really I can neither confirm nor deny is the thing. I can neither confirm nor deny because I made it like a minute in to the first episode and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand like I couldn't abide by the um I couldn't abide by the oh we are in Surveyor 2. I don't really want to be in Surveyor 2. I couldn't handle the faces. Couldn't handle the faces. So and I don't know why, it's like I grew up on Thomas and Friends as, as did we all, right? Uh I grew up on Thomas and Friends. That stuff should not have been unusual to me. It shouldn't have been like out of the ordinary. It shouldn't have felt weird. Um, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't do it. I saw like the eyes pop up, and I went, no, no, I can't. And that sort of started, maybe that started sort of my lack of engagement with a lot of similar content, even like Mark's content, even Heiss's content. I like, and I like Mark. He's a good friend, um, but I just can't like spend the time with content and sort of meet it where it stands in the same way that I used to. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why, but that's just where I am. Either I'm okay with something if I'm gonna spend my time watching it, reading it, that sort of thing. Uh, but I can't. There are some things that hang me up, and I don't want to say make it not worth my time, but like if I'm not enjoying myself, I'm not going to suffer my way through something just so I can sort of give it a review, so I can understand it more often than not. I know I'm getting back into the media analysis thing again. That's something that we talked about last time. Um, but I just don't. I don't know. It just doesn't land with me in the way that in the it doesn't land with me in the way that things used to. I mean, maybe it's not even a used to. Maybe I really never was like that. Maybe I've never been able to meet something sort of where it stands in the way that I think I could have. And yeah, I sort of did that for the real list, but that's maybe the only exception. And even beyond that, it's not like I was watching random movies. They weren't being recommended to me by the audience per se. We got a couple of examples that someone told us we needed to watch and we wanted to watch, but we weren't for the realist. We weren't like tearing through audience suggested movies. That was never the point. In fact, I never opened it up for suggestions for that exact reason. If you don't know what the realist is, Gloria and I did a movie review show for like a year on the Iron Horseman community channel, which I think is also linked in this in the description here. So I'm gonna have this thing sneak around the edge here. This is gonna be out of service though, is the thing. This is gonna be something that, like this, the old Union Pacific doesn't run by here anymore. I feel like a lot of people forgot the realist existed because it's just one of those things that, it, like only a couple of other things really, it was just on the community channel. It was just there, and I liked doing it. But it was, when it became when we had to like nix something for time, it was one of the first things up there because it was basically just an extra time commitment on top of leisure time that we weren't getting to spend anyway. Um, Oh, shoot. This isn't going to be good. If I can, I'm going to have to pull this closer to the track over here and closer to the road as well. Because this is pretty much as close as it gets. Um, anyway. Railyard asked if I would get Trainz Forge's Empress. And honestly, probably not. Trainz Forge is a great group of people. They make fantastic content. I can't recommend them enough, frankly. But I pretty much am only getting stuff from the DLS these days because of Tolbrand. And even if we never get to my ultimate goal, which was I want to make a map that is compatible with the old style Trainz multiplayer, and I can do multiplayer on. Even if we never get to that, what we have instead is a map where you can download it off the DLS and just have everything, you know, which the reason that's so important to me is because the Iron Horseman Railroad is the exact opposite, The Iron Horseman Railroad is as far as it gets from that ideal. It was a huge, huge endeavor to collect assets. Well, it still is, I suppose. A huge endeavor to collect the assets if you want to mess around on the Iron Horseman Railroad. And I think to this day, only a couple of people have ever managed to compile every single one of them. And I'm not one. Like, I never had all of the assets for the Iron Horseman route. I've never had all of them. The copy of the route I have is missing dependencies. And I was the guy filming more often than not. So, you know, it's just I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. And I didn't want this to be like that. What I think of the San Juan, same opinion as the full bucket line, which is to say, no opinion really. I at a basic level, I respect all the people that are doing Trainz and machinima, because even if you are not good at it, even if you're not a great writer, even if you're not a great machinimator, even if you're not a great cinematographer or editor, I understand how much of a pain it is, and how much sort of heart and soul and all that gets put into even the most basic production. Um, I want you. Okay. Yes. Um, that gets put into even the most basic production, and like when when the when Empire Builder 999, when 2026 Productions came to me and said, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing a Trainz series, which would eventually become the Terrible Tale of Clinchfield 311." I had known him a few years at that point, and he said, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing a Trainz series," and I said, "Don't," in no uncertain terms. Hello, Sherry Dunbar. I just, I was just like, "Let's don't. It's a headache. It's not worth the effort. Whatever. Like, don't do it." Thank God he did it anyway, because, and even if I've never followed that content either, even if I've never had the time to sit down and watch through 311 episodes, uh, I wholly respect the series, and I wholly respect him. And the one bright flash in the pan that I can point to of writing what could have become a crossover episode with him was some of the most fun I've ever had writing a script. I've mentioned before, it sort of let me take it let me take the weighted blanket off. I don't have the right phrasing, but it it let me cut loose. Um, would I be up for an interview in the future? I would be honored to do an interview with anybody. I don't know if I'm important enough for that sort of thing, but as long as we get to plug the trading cards at the end, I will do anything. I want. I know that sounds self-serving, but genuinely speaking, I am a I know I have landed in the hearts and minds of some, and I am so incredibly grateful for that fact, for the fact that my content means something to someone or means something to anyone. Um, but I feel like the existence of Heist sort of shows how high this elevator can go, right? And I am on like floor number one. I'm on the first one above ground, right? Um, and I'm not sort of envious of that. I'm not upset about that. I like I say, I hold absolutely no ill will in my heart for the people that have become more successful than I have because, let's be frank, I do this for fun. I do this as a hobby. I've never even really considered turning this into a career. Um, the people that dedicate themselves to doing videography, to doing YouTube, to doing sort of content and influencing as their biggest take home. I I respect the hustle, right? It's not that easy. It's not something that you just sit down and do, especially if you want to do it right, especially if you want to do it well. And that's why I am where I am, and I'm under no delusions about that. It's not the algorithm that's oppressing me. It's not I don't know that other people are not giving me the respect I deserve. I don't know. I don't know. I'm inventing stuff here. I feel like you know I've long since rationalized that I don't have the production quality that other people do, and it's not some sort of major failing on my part. It's just because I don't care that much. Because this is something I do for fun. And yeah, I mean the trading cards have made the stakes a little bit higher. Um, because I am sort of putting my money on the line, and I'm trying to make a product, and I'm trying to make something that you know in my wildest dreams becomes adopted as a standard, right? And museums across the country are sort of making trading cards in my design or with my design, or I'm making them for them, as opposed to the complete like disorganized smattering that is train trading cards in the modern era, or really in any era, because it's not like it's been different in any era. Um, but even still, this is still just a hobby, you know? This is still just a fun thing. This is it's it's fun, and it's a vehicle for me to make something I want to make. Like it's a vehicle for me to make this route. Which it Sherry Dunbar, it might never be finished. Um, it might be something that I work on for the rest of my life, or end up having to restart, or I move on to a different kind of mega project. I always want to be doing Trainz stuff because I am not the most in the loop, but I feel like there is sort of a lack of Trainz YouTubers, people who do this sort of day in and day out. I know that there are some people out there, again, people that are much more famous than I am, that do this kind of thing. But there's not a ton, you know? I don't. The market is very small. I don't think it's saturated, you know? Especially if I'm only here, a few hours a week chipping away at this mega project. Um, but Mr. Railyard, I mean, I really appreciate the words, and I can't say enough how much it means to me that people cite me as an inspiration. Because from my point of view, I'm just a guy having fun on the internet, you know? I'm somebody who gets to hop into a train sim and just sort of do what I want for a few hours and talk to some great people. Talk to the folks in the audience, talk to my friends, talk to my comrades, you know? I can't say it enough how much I appreciate being able to do this. Being 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 fortunate enough to do this and not have to worry about needing to pay the bills with it. Although I did have to file taxes on this stuff for the first time this year. I did surpass the threshold, which is a cool metric. It's a cool milestone. It's not exactly the most glamorous one. I had to do taxes, but I am thankful for the fact that that much that I've been so fortunate, so lucky, so blessed with the opportunity to do this sort of thing. Okay, doing this intersection and that intersection and the other intersection is going to be an absolute nightmare of a headache. I don't want to do it right now. This one's going to be bad too. Yeah. Um, I don't know, what can we do? There are too many things we need to do and we're not doing anything. I want to put another warehouse building along the edge here. Maybe something fairly generic and simple. Um, Maybe at the end of the day, though, it doesn't really matter um, because there are a lot of empty spaces around these kinds of buildings. And maybe I want to have another one over. I mean, I definitely want to have something else over here. This tail track has got to be for some kind of industry. Just don't know what. But I like this dairy building that we put together, and this looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like one building, even though it's two, and then the tanks are separate, and then the platform is separate too. The fact that this pipe is just above the level of the platform really helps sell it to me. Okay. So, this track is not going to be active, right? This track is going to be abandoned. We're going to have that over here. Part of me wants to see if I can start doing scenery work on some of these riverbanks, some of these little industries. Or even along this stretch here. Let's see. I don't know, I'm trying to think about what is the correct next course of action, you know? And we didn't fill in this side. I know I said about putting in like I was encouraged to put in like a motocross course over here, which is cool. Just not entirely sure how to fill this back lot in. Maybe like some kind of RV park or something. This area needs roads before I can do anything like that with it, though. That said, I think the track work is kind of done in this neighborhood. Um, from coming off the main line here, which let's throw that to the other side. Actually, let's grab the switch motor for that. Um, Coming off the main line here to where it meets over here. I think we're all set. Like we have the crossings are in, the industries are in. One of them is in the river, but that's sort of beside the point. And I don't know about this guy. I think I just put this building here, just as an aside, just as a random item. I don't know if I had a plan. Can't help but notice though that it has no doors and nowhere to drop anything off. So I don't really know what this building is doing. I don't know what it could be doing. Right now, it's definitely not doing anything. And this is hovering. So we need to get height, and then probably just use height and fill this here. Again, I was talking last time about emergent terrain, you know, talking about how we want this to be, relatively speaking, natural looking. And it's never going to be perfect, you know, we're not going to be able to get it perfect. But if we can get it kind of close, if we can have terrain that is sort of natural-ish, uh, random-ish. You know, humans are bad at random, right? You know, we're not good at doing random stuff. And even computers sometimes can be bad at well, computers are much better at random than we are. We're not going to have the random discussion for the 35th time on this show, but it is what it is. I grew up on watching people's video like yours, Nick Ozerak, Christopher Kovacs, Jack Boy, Luke Iverson, Dan Linfors, and others. I know some of those names, and it's one of those things where I'm just not in it, right? I'm not with it, rather, with the content, with the people. Um, until I befriended Mark, until I made friends with Heiss through Weibold, there was really nobody else doing Trainz content that I had sort of a rapport with, um, or doing train content in general, that I had a rapport with. And like I've mentioned, it's not like I did that on purpose, but it's not like I, you know, I didn't, in either direction, I didn't do it on purpose. It just wasn't something that I was concerned about. I wasn't really concerned about doing the networking thing. I've never been a big networking guy, which is a weird thing to say, considering I have my Discord where I hang out with all people. But that's what feels like networking to me. It's not, but it's what it feels like. Um, your friend happened to be friends with a guy whose YouTube channel blew up. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I know I've told the story countless times, but it's like that first video that I was in, um, the stream of Rare Tycoon. I didn't know that was going to be a stream. I didn't really know Mark had much of a YouTube presence at that point, and then I was just like, yeah, big fan, because like I'd heard of him, um, but you know, I had no idea. Okay, let's. Okay, I'm gonna put something here. I'd love to build routes with you. Well, that means a lot. MPS is kind of broken though, and we broke it. And collaborative projects are fun, but I feel like they become decidedly less fun if people aren't all on the same page. People have different ambitions. People don't communicate particularly well sometimes. It's one of those things where you really have to have a group of folks that's willing to work together, you know, truly work with each other before you can get, uh, before you can worry about doing that kind of collaborative effort. And it's something that's something that, okay, we're putting a sheets here. Uh, that's something it took me a little bit of time to realize, a little bit of time to understand. You know, you figure you can just jump into a project with anyone, but people say make friends out of colleagues, not colleagues out of friends. And I think there is some rationale to that. Not I'm not saying don't do collaborative projects with people you are friends with, but you need to set your expectations differently, or you need to really think about what you're doing, and you really need to be on the same page with that person. You don't want to damage a friendship over something simple, petty, you know, something that could have been nipped in the bud. Um, And that's not usually how things work. Is the end game, and I feel like that saying, as potentially true as it sometimes may be, I put a lot of asterisks on that statement. Uh, it is, you rarely get that luxury, right? You want to start something. You want to. Okay, the sheets is a little too modern, so I guess we won't do that. We'll do this instead. This is really nice though. Or yeah, I mean yeah, we'll do it like this. Um, you want to do stuff, and you want to do stuff with the people that you have similar interests with. You want to do stuff with the people that you know, you're familiar with, your friends, you know? And I don't want to discourage people from doing that. I shouldn't say don't do that. Maybe it's even overzealous of me to push the idea that you should make colleagues out of friends. Um, but I just, I just want to sort of recognize that you need to set your expectations appropriately when you are going into what is effectively a mega project, you know? I think a good sized Trainz route is a kind of mega project. If you have something that you're going to be chipping away at for months or years, right? That's a mega project. Okay. I think I want I think I want trees to be like wrapped around the back of this, but otherwise the diamond to be pretty much clear. I'm not sure what I wanted to put here. Again, I know what I wanted to put here. I don't know about here. Oh, wait, I can just paint trees. Forgot about that. Need to jump back into Surveyor 2, but I can just paint trees. Um, paint, brush, scrapbook data. Just do what I do. Hyperfixate on your route for about 2 weeks, then don't touch it for months. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid, you know? That is, it's an easy, like a really, really easy trap to fall into. Because that's what your brain wants to do. You want to work, 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 work. Like, you want to do the thing, right? You see the thing that you're working on, you want to get it done. You want to put time and effort and hours and you want to pour stuff into it. You want to make progress. And I know that feeling so very well because sometimes I go to bed with that feeling. Sometimes I get done with an under construction stream and I go, "Ooh, I want to go back to that." You know, it doesn't happen super often, but it does happen. Um, but I don't. I don't work on it in my off time, which means when I get the opportunity to work on it, it's it's sweeter, right? It makes me enjoy this time more. Um, I think the key to enjoying a project as something to do is to, deliberately pace yourself, to really push yourself into I'm going to work from now till then, and then I'm going to set this down and I'm going to be done with it for X amount of time, and then I will come back to it. I've talked about this a lot when I talk about root building, when I talk about mega projects. Discipline, and I feel like either my father or a karate teacher, discipline is like the most important skill you can have. Like more than anything. Because it takes that to sit down and learn stuff. It takes that to sit down and complete stuff. Um, oh, Orion, you're getting a tornado warning too. Hello. Um, it takes that to deal with yourself, to deal with people, to deal with, anything that can't be done in an afternoon. Um, and even that, you know, and it's about stealing yourself. It's about doing stuff. Yeah, and Mopac, I believe I've seen your route. I've been constantly impressed by your terrain work, because if I remember right, it's all by hand, which is, again, just crazy, like super duper impressive. Uh, but it is most, once you get into, once you get anywhere near the neighborhood of double digit miles, it gets uh, it gets increasingly more difficult to do anything, because you are going, like, no matter what you do, you're going to be at it for a while, because you can't do it in an afternoon. You can't do it in a few hours for a competition. It is something that you're going to be spending weeks of your life on at a minimum, even if you work full bore. And you need to not lead yourself into burnout, And that's another reason why I'm glad that I do this. Uh, I do this sort of casually, right? I don't do this as a job. I don't do this every day. Um, part of it is because, yeah, because I forget sometimes, right? Because I'm not perfect about uploading videos, and maybe if I had not a full-time job on my plate, I would be better about it. But ultimately, I'm just sort of here. I'm just Ken. Um, oh shoot. But yeah, I don't even think I have the discipline to do that sort of thing, because you can use discipline. You can push yourself to work through something. You can push yourself to work harder, to work more, or you can push yourself to hold off and to find that balance. Um, and I think that's maybe even more important. Okay, hold on. Hmm. I feel like this is way too much parking. Um, but the thing is, if you just push yourself, right? If you can either go by wind or by sail, or by sail or by oar. If you oar yourself, right, the whole time, you're gonna get burned out. You're gonna get exhausted. You're not gonna be able to work. You're not gonna be able to do more. You're gonna have to stop at some point, and that's not that's not conducive when you're doing it as a livelihood. If unless you can really, really force yourself to maintain a work-life balance, then then you're going to end up getting burned out. And if your livelihood is hanging over your head, right, then your work-life balance is going to take even more of a hit. Like, it's going to be even tougher to make happen. Huh. Oh. Oh. That's neat. Let's grab some sidewalk and help this out. Nope. Anyway. We got a third round of storms coming. Still can be tornadic. Aren't they rebuilding tornadic? I heard we're getting a tornadic too. I have actually heard more more murmurings about some billionaire wants to build a second Titanic. I mean, I am not saying we should believe the notion that somebody is going to build a second Titanic, or, for example, that it's a good idea. But, you know, it's just throwing it out there. I'll believe it when I see it. But you know what? If it happens, that'd be very cool. I feel like there are too many things that we jump to total dismissal on, and we don't sort of acknowledge the idea that, hey, you know, maybe it's not all bad. Maybe if this does happen, even though it would be completely ridiculous and nonsensical, and like that'll never happen, right? We can still acknowledge that it would be kind of cool if it did. Okay, hold on. Let me. Can I? No. Oh, it's 20.2 meters higher. It's 20 centimeters higher. Let's scoot this back so that it folds into here. And we are going to have to take care with this, like, the whole way around. I don't know about... we're probably going to have to... We're going to have to use, like, every commercial building set we have to get down this main drag. I may have put more commercial than I needed to. But this whole section is looking to be that. That's why it's in the blue. Wait, what was that one? The first one we got rid of. This one. I like this one more. It's got the planters, it's got the double wide sidewalk. I might replace this with that. Let me just see how it looks. Let me grab that. And let me... replace... Wait. Why can't... Oh. Oh, because I didn't grab the thing. I grabbed the... There we go. Yeah, let me replace the, Yeah, it's about the same width. Yeah, I like this better. People can just park on the side. Place spline with selected asset. And we can go through and we can go through and we can add trees and all these planters. That would be neat. That's going to be fun. Oh wait, no. Let's not do that. Nope. Let's grab this and that and see if we can scoot them over just a little bit to bring it in line with the thingy there. Is there a spline point in the middle of this? No. No, this is all one. Is this straightened though? No. That explains some of what I was seeing. Being able to see if something is straightened just by looking at it, or just by looking at like the content page, that's an upgrade. That's nice to have. I like to see that. Let's replace with selected asset right there. So now we don't have to look at those terrible pavement lines anymore. I should have gone with this from the beginning. And, I mean, these grass strips, they're probably better for suburban, or at least slightly less urban areas. Let's jump back to Surveyor Classic. Oh, shoot. Certainly not the worst button press that I've made. Let's see, I probably want to raise this track a little bit just to get it up to the height of the road. I mean, alternatively, I could, of course, just lower the road, but where's the fun in that? Hi, my love. What can I do for you?
What do you want to eat for dinner?
I just ate dinner.
Oh, you ate.
The helicopter? Pretty sure it's a helicopter. What were you saying? I ate what?
They leftovers.
Yeah, I ate leftovers. Hey.
What?
You even gave me the whole thing about like, oh, we haven't had it in a while, so I'll be okay with it this time. Like we could have not made this. I asked for Gloria's garlic parm crockpot chicken, which is an outstanding meal. Um, but it has a ton of cheese, and Gloria isn't the hugest fan of it. But it had been a long time, so they said, "Yeah, no, why not? Yeah, well, let's do that." And I asked for it because I knew that I would be busy this evening because it's Thursday. Um, and it would allow us to not worry about dinner and me to just do this, you know. Um, how about I go up to 73? That's better. Okay, so you've got a little step down. And I want to put this here. Wrong way around. I wish I could reverse the direction. That would be quite nice. That would make my life easier. Nope, and it's gone. Okay, let's try that again. The 50-50 shot that you always get wrong. And I think this curve is facing the wrong way. But honestly, I'm not bothered. And we'll have to do this on the other side. As long as I'm, like, happy with the way this is looking, that's not good. Wait, why aren't these connected? What in the... Wait, what? How are... What? What is going on? Oh, this... The middle bit isn't... Something is not right. Well, that has, like, camber to it. And this... I don't really know what's going on here. I seem to have broken the game. If I replace that, now everything is better. Oh, and the track is much higher now, so that was a graphical glitch. Why I ended up having to raise the track, so I can lower it back down again. I can lower it back just a touch. Just so we can get barely the rails sticking out. We're going to end up doing crossing boards anyway, the same ones we always use. Again, just finding something you like and sticking to it. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah, and we'll put those crossing boards in. And we have to replace this piece of road too. I'm realizing there are single pieces, like single sidewalk pieces here that I could have used instead of this. Oh, that's track. That's why. Grab this. Hey, baby. What'd you end up making? Oh, in the takeout container?
If I'm gonna suffer, I might as well suffer in style.
Okay. That's a real... You should put that as your status.
Yeah. got that from work. They have like a table. It's like they put like water and stuff and like snacks and stuff. And they're like, help yourself. We're a part of a team, even though we're suffering without employees.
Well, obviously you need more team.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Gloria tried to give them to me, and I said I can't right now. Just put them on the table. And the back of my mind thought was, TJ will probably eat these. I can tell.
The pistachio one was really, really good. Yeah, it's like little baklava.
Yeah. I think if I had it, I would try nuking it for like 15 seconds first to make it, baklava. I want it warm. I don't know about anybody else. If we can just get this all, if we can get this all squared away. Get this all squared away. And by that I mean it kind of literally with like the square shape, the right angles. It's just, I think about every little thing that I've done is done, right? And I know I say that every damn time, but everything I've done is done. Let's look for stores. Whoa. Well, that's cool. I'm going to put that off to the side with this. I'll just put it in a river. Wanda's Antique Store, DES. You know where this is going to go? It's going to go behind the roundhouse. And you know what? I think that other building will as well. Let's go grab that. This is going to be like the back. Tell me you haven't seen something like this on the side of the road, you know? I feel like I've walked through 15 of these kinds of stores. Just looking for nothing in particular. Wanda's Antique Barn. 7-Eleven. Get 7-Elevens. When did 7-Eleven come about? I wonder if that's... I mean, the stores don't really look contemporaneous with the map, but I wonder if that's, Huh. Well, that's neat. That's a very suburbia item. Superstore. Tractor Supply. This is a, oh, it's a big K. Oh, it is a big K mart. It's a K mart. Okay. Foster's? Nice. Okay. Very cool. We'll put that somewhere. I think I've used that on this map before, though. These stores, okay, these are the kind of stores that, like, we're getting into. Hello, Mr. 2012. Hello, guy. These are not the ones that I have been thinking of. IGA Supermarket. This kind of thing has got to be out on the main drag. I do not speak Russian, sadly. I unfortunately only speak English. I have nothing interesting to report on that front. This feels like it has to be out here on the main drag. There are some other stores. There are like the row house looking buildings, the JR ones. I don't actually know where those have gone. There's these, which are extremely low poly. And then there are the storefronts. Okay, so these are the ones that I was thinking about. These are the ones that I was looking at. I am building a North American style Trainz, 50s Americana, so transition era Trainz route. Currently I'm working on I guess you'd call this a downtown. This is a relatively small town, but I mean, for trains, it's massive. Um, and I just need to figure out lining this with stores. Does Ivan canonically speak Russian? I think so, yeah. I don't think I've ever had him say anything because I don't know the language. Um, but, you know, Ivan of the Iron Horseman Chronicles probably does speak Russian. At least he wants to. He might know some words and assumes he knows the whole language. Oh, we've got some in an L shape, too. So we could stick these along here, although that's not a very main road. Well, I guess it is, because you get that other thing going on. Part of me wants to make this. Part of me wants to make this just this section of road really wide. Maybe I'll make the sidewalks really wide. I am from Providence, Rhode Island. What about you? Oh yeah, these are some massive L's. You're right about that, guy. Yeah, I need double sidewalks on this. But I mean, look at that. We have only a couple of these placed down, and we've done most of the stretch of road, which is why these DES things, you know, as much as I complain about the DES sort of cargoes, the buildings are all top notch. I'm from Dunnick. Cool. It's always nice to see international viewers. Oh, this is a really long one. I wonder, this is the back? Oh, I have to make sure none of these have the screwed up backside. Okay. From missed by half mile, injuries and damage are being assessed. Well, I'm glad it didn't hit you. I'm glad you got lucky this time around. But yeah, I'm gonna use like all of these storefronts in the course of this town. Now I have in war. Well, let's try to keep our minds off of such things as much as we can on a Trainz stream. I know that the world doesn't stop just because we want to take a breather from it. But alas, sometimes we must pretend that it has. Unless we want to go crazy. Oh wait, why didn't I do a one-side sidewalk on this? I thought... wait a minute. Hold on, clear that. Wasn't I just looking at this and there was a one-side sidewalk of those that I put down? Nope, not that one. This one? Yes, but these are different sidewalk widths, and it looks like the width is stolen on the road, so that's less than ideal. I don't really love that. Although, if I scoot this over, then I can just pull that open and let cars in that way. Guy is currently entering Oz. He got sucked up by that tornado. Okay. Yeah, so I can have this here. I know it's too soon, but you know how if you die in a boiler explosion, you go to Foamer Valhalla? If you die in a tornado, do you go to Oz? Just asking. Somebody has to. I'm asking the questions nobody else will. Okay. That is about the right angle. When you die in a tornado, you have a 50% chance of going to Oz. What about the other 50%? Do I dare ask? What happens the other 50% of the time? Okay. Can I butt this up against this and still have enough room? 5 fire trucks in a row is a bad omen. Bad sign. Okay, hold on. What is the rotation angle of this guy? Oh, and it still needs just a touch more. There we go. The other 50% is probably Bucky's. Spiritually, my home is a Shoney's. What's that restaurant that you wanted to go in Colorado, babe? Casa Bonita. Oh, okay, yeah. It's gonna become the meme restaurant of the Colorado trip. Oh, right. Hold on. This 129.6. This 129.7. Oh, I got it pretty close just on a guess. Let's see if we can scoot it back from the road just a little bit. Let's try not to clip these into one another too hard. Uh-oh, Biscuit Whirl.
Biscuit Whirl!
I knew that was either going to be Matt or Dean. Oh man, this road is just slightly off. The building is just barely clipping it. So I think at the end of the day I'm going to have to give in and scoot this over and have the narrow sidewalk. 129.6 still. 29.6. I'm ended up grouping them. I deem today the Pi Day outbreak of 2024. Outbreak, eh? I feel like we're not allowed to... I feel like that should be a protected term after, you know, a couple years ago. Can't just be calling things outbreak here and there, willy-nilly. Gonna give people PTSD. Okay, so I scooted that over, it makes enough room. There we go. So we got all our storefronts. And I'm kind of not sure what to put in the space in between. The day that Krabs fries. Well, if he gets hit by the tornado, it would be more like the day that Krabs flies. Part of me wants to put like a more... like a strip mall here. But I don't really want to do that. Like I don't want to gut this downtown if I can help it. And I feel like people underestimate how big these little downtowns are. Like if I jump to, let's go to somewhere that is a cute small little downtown. We're going to Idaho Springs, and you're welcome to follow along with us on Google Maps. If you go into downtown Idaho Springs, you look for where Route 70 runs through everything. Or actually, I guess Minor Street is sort of the main drag here. You go from the river, you measure that distance all the way to the end of the block there. You get about a quarter mile. And Idaho Springs is tiny. It's really tiny. And yeah, like that is the commercial district. But Idaho Springs is really tiny. And the thing that I'm getting out of this, so that you folks can see what I can see, is if you look at your set of buildings here, and you go behind it, you've got another street. You've got all parking lots. And that's what we should be doing. Also, for the record, old locomotive. Everyone should know and pay respects to 60 here. Rhode Island Locomotive Works built. One of a few that remain. Cool little dude. Someday we'll have a trading card of that. Anyway. And back to work. Yeah, we should definitely have another road behind, and then a set of parking lots. Even if I don't do it as a spline road, even if I do it as more of a just like drawn on the ground sort of thing, which is probably the way to go for this. We should have it, right? Although this can be a nice little offset intersection, I can have at least a piece of road that goes to the back here. Yeah, okay. It's going to be an offset intersection. So this is going to look a little awkward, but we'll figure it out. The interesting thing is I've never made a real model railroad. I mean, I've been around for the Providence Northern folks putting their outstanding layout together, which I suppose I should say our, but I really can't take ownership of it. So instead I am, I am sort of doing this here in Trainz and thinking about, is this how they feel? Is this how they felt? Is this what they did? I just sort of looked at the world here and said, oh, you know what, I think I'm going to put this over here, and I think I'm going to put this over here. Because it's an interesting feeling to look at the world and just try to narrow things down slowly. Let's do this. Hello, TJ. I think those were what we wanted. And then how do we do over here? We used this piece. This is a large piece of road. Oh, okay, no, it is a narrow piece of road. Just going to go to about there. And what we actually need is a piece coming from the... Oh, shoot. And I'm going to need to flatten all this out at some point, or at least make it look not bad. It doesn't have to be flat, but it has to be close. And I don't want to attach that also. Hold shift, drop that in. Grab this. And then just raise everything up to the height. I think if I pull this a little bit closer, it'll be a little bit better. But what did I use as priority here? I used the main road. Now your corners, of course, don't look like this in real life. You need enough radius for cars to turn, but trying to do rounded edges, beveled edges of an intersection like this is massively more of a headache. And honestly, I feel like it ends up looking worse than the alternative because you end up trying to find other splines and get them to curve properly. It can become very much of a headache. And this looks like something that either I scoot this guy through here and settle on having a very, very lightly skew intersection, which would probably be what would be here after all. Just a very, very, barely offset. But I'm going to go a little bit more than that, just so that I can try to make this look a little better. And it is, emphasis on try. This is not an exact science, right? This is something that I'm experimenting with as we go. I haven't done this before. I am far from an expert. But I'm giving it a shot, right? Let's do that. Now we should probably put the trees last, because if you just noticed what I noticed, not only do the planters stretch out as you go, but they also sort of snap too. Sad part about tornadoes missing you is you still have slow internet after. Well, that wouldn't be my first concern, but I understand. In the menial way that it affects you. Thankfully. Thankfully you get slow internet and not your house lifted off its foundations and carried away to a magical land where the witches try to do... I don't remember what the goal of the witches in The Wizard of Oz was. I don't remember what their motive was. What's my motivation? I know we're gonna get like an Emerald City movie. We're gonna get some more Wizard of Oz lore, which not usually something that I care about, but you know it looks kind of neat. Probably won't see it, but it looks like something. Um, yeah, I'll get you my pretty and your little dog too. Why was she just like out for revenge? I know. The main character landed a house on the other Wicked Witch, but it wasn't her fault. At least, you know that was the implication. We don't actually know. The movie could have some unreliable narrator going on, and Dorothy piloted that house like Carl Fredrickson and just smashed the witch. She knew what she was doing. Um, oh, the Wicked Witch of one of the ruby red shoes Dorothy wound up with. That's such a petty motivation. I mean, I guess they were kind of a powerful magical artifact, right? They teleported her home. We didn't get more of the power of the ruby slippers. Imagine if you got like 20 minutes into the movie and you got Deus Ex Machina and it's like the ruby slippers. We never thought to say anything, but they actually give you the power to control the weather, and that's why the tornado hit her in the first place, because she like tripped. The Wicked Witch of the East just like wiped out wearing those giant heels, and then the tornado was just like, ah, yes, I'm coming. Okay, so we've got a road that wraps around back. All this area is going to be parking. This area is going to be parking. This area is going to be parking. Do you think we have enough parking? Trick question. The answer is no. This is America in the 1950s. Okay. I could scoot this back a little bit using... So if I did this, did that, this is Wicked Witch Petty right here. I'm just gonna do that. And then I'm going to pull this way. Yeah, and the fact that this is a little bit weird, I mean, it bothers me a little bit, but not enough to want to do anything more about it. I'm not sure I can do more about it. I can only imagine, like, I don't make assets. And it's almost deliberate. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily feel like figuring out how to make assets. It is a skill set, it is a series of skill sets that I don't, that I'm just completely unfamiliar with. They're totally out of my wheelhouse. I'm out of my depth just thinking about opening Blender or even locomotive configs, which I have done in the past, but I haven't done in a very long time. Come back to my coal is still broken, but, you know, could probably fix that. I just, honestly, am not sure if I can be bothered. But I can only imagine if I had all of that know-how under my belt. These episodes would never end. You know, these would never end. Like, we'd never make any progress. I'd be fiddling with assets. I'd be making new roads. I'd be going, you know, full Mason. Making new sets of roads, making all sorts of custom content for myself, and putting it all in the DLS, of course, if I could get permission. But that's sort of, you know, that's, to come back to it, I feel like that's almost why the trading cards exist, right? Because I couldn't leave well enough alone. Because I saw the loco base and went, this is awesome. Hey, I've got an idea. So, TJ, what is the name of the cracked pavement track?
Oh god, Street Run, something Street Run.
Our track Street Run. Awesome. And before Ellis picks up Bender and makes ZNS Bull Moose, or Blender and makes ZNS Bull Moose. Yeah, no, I mean,
I gotta get back in Blender.
I would love to. I would love to. I just can't imagine sitting down and trying to figure that out. Shelby asked in fan chat about, hey, does anyone know like the basics of 3D printing or 3D modeling? Because I want to make a coin for my friend to 3D print. And I just wrote back like, you're poking a can of worms.
Yeah,
Like,
you're gonna have
yeah.
like the most HDR, like fine detail coin ever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's add a spline point here. Kind of miss doing. I miss doing Geiger. I was so happy with my stuff. I wish I had found a way to back it up uh, before everything exploded. But I don't even know what my track work looked like. The stuff that's all destroyed. But I was very happy with it. I was proud of it. Oh well.
Start like a whole new thing.
Yeah. Well, if we can get everyone on the same page about how we're gonna do it, then yeah, sure. Okay, this. Okay, a straight crossing isn't necessarily perfectly realistic for this situation, but it might be the best we can do. Can I remove, merge splines. Yeah, there we go.
Here's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
What if we set up the map using only baseboards into like a big giant grid?
Yeah.
So like say about like a 3x3 grid
Okay.
with just like a skeleton of baseboards.
Okay. You said a 3x3 grid. I was thinking 9 baseboards. What do you mean?
Well, no. So I mean like a set amount, like a set distance of baseboards that we choose, maybe like 20 miles or something.
Okay.
20 miles by like 3x3 grid or whatever, and then everybody can choose a spot on the grid and then fill it in.
I mean, that would be cool. That's not too far off my thoughts with the big dem,
Yeah.
right?
Well, honestly, maybe we should just try and pretend with it and see if you guys work.
The problem with that is we can't agree on how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted it to be just like that, where we just sort of pick a spot and go, and then it turned into a whole planning thing. I was trying to avoid all the planning. Smooth granite is selected. There we go. I mean, I've come back around. I feel like the planning is important, but I feel like it's only important insofar as we know who's going to get in whose way, instead of we're going to figure this world out before we start building. But honestly, I don't know. I feel like there are plenty of lessons to be learned from the big Geiger map, but I don't know what.
Maybe we take Geiger as a lesson.
Yeah. Well.
Don't start with a gigantic city that everybody has to build. I don't know, but that's the best way to do it. Though.
Yeah. No, I don't think that we could get better than that.
Yeah.
Really, Otherwise, it's a bunch of little railroads in the middle of nowhere. Like, they're all going to converge somewhere, you would hope, or somebody's off starting a million miles away from everybody else.
Yeah.
And it might not actually be a million miles, but it sure will feel like it. If MPS is something we end up doing again, which I assume it will be, a long enough timeline, it'll come back around.
I feel like if we start a new map, all the problems we have will be gone.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that doesn't mean they won't show up again.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because then we have to build a new city.
Yeah.
A new central point.
And I
mean, like, maybe the thing is like, maybe, like, the map that we made isn't the problem, but, like, something with, like, that like, root file or whatever, like, is fucked.
Yeah, well, it's definitely broken.
So, I feel like if we just had a way to, like, take the Geiger map, or take Geiger as it stands now, toss it onto a new map, and then start from scratch, then
Yeah.
we might have better short term.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call because it's like, well, at that point, what are you doing other than just like rolling back the clock a little bit and what do you not expect the problems to come back? I'm not directing that at you. I'm just saying like
Well, the thing
it's just
is like
the
there's a
mood.
series of steps that happen before the problem started, and if we avoid those, then
Yeah.
like converting the whole map to HD terrain and then converting it back to 5D terrain.
Yeah. Honestly though, I don't now like my emotions tied up in it, right? I'm just like I don't want to look at that terminal anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was so happy with it and now I go and like half of the tracks are missing and I'm like I don't want to fix this.
Yeah.
I don't I want it to die. I want to go back to my screenshots and look at it when it was good because if I try to think through it again, and this happens here too. Uh, but not as much because I haven't had like a data loss in a very long time. Um, knock on wood, knock on glass. Um, I sort of sit here and I think, okay, well now I've got to do what I did before, again, like the same way. Like I have to get in my own head. I have to think about, uh, okay, how did I do this last time? That's not good. How did I do this last time? And I've got to do it exactly as that. Otherwise, I'm not going to be satisfied. Like I know that is 100% a me problem,
Yeah.
but it's just the thought process, right? It is, I liked how this was before. I need to do that again. I can't envisage starting from scratch, starting from where I'm at, and just crafting it again from nothing because I know what the outcome is quote unquote supposed to look like. I know what I'm happy with as an outcome. I need to find that again. Uh, and that's why I can't look at Geiger Union Terminal anymore. I was so happy with the total and complete ridiculousness and chaos that I had created. Um, but I don't want to I feel like if I tried to do that again, it would be such an exercise in frustration for me.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, like, if there was a way to like literally copy paste it, like not.
yeah. Well, but the thing is, it's broken.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a way they have like I think they could backdate it.
maybe that would be nice. Uh, Yo, it's Chris says Rip Geiger Mountains. Yeah, no, that was a time. I mean, I miss the Geiger Mountains. The Geiger Mountains are like the only real loss that we've had in a significant stretch of time. They were the early loss. They were the defining loss. They were the thing that made me go, okay, I've got to like make backups of everything, right? Um, I've got to export stuff as CDP. I've got to have multiple copies of the route. Um, and now I generally do that, and I haven't even had any sort of data loss in a very long time, like I say. Um, if we've had a couple game crashes because we're trying to download stuff while we have the root open, and this and that and the other thing, but it's not been bad, on here anyway.
Yeah.
So I haven't dealt with that. I haven't become accustomed to it anymore. And yeah, I mean, rest in peace, Geiger Mountains. I miss it, but at least it's gonna get a little bit of attention. At least we're making a new one. Yeah, and that is the thing that I started in Trainz 2006. The first videos that I made in Trainz are in Geiger Mountains. And I was proud of the map. Looking back, it was a catastrophe. It was terrible. I should not really. I mean, I won't say I shouldn't have been proud of it because that's just sort of discounting what I was working to the. I was working to the extent of my understanding of the game and of route building and all that. I worked my butt off when it came to that railroad. Looking back, it might not have been very good, but it still represents a lot of effort. To come back to my discussion about people who make Trainz machinimas, even if it's not a good one, I understand a lot of effort goes into it, and I respect the people that are doing it. just like at a base level before anything else. Um, so I put a lot of work into that, but it is maybe I put a lot of work into that, but looking back, it is something that was a stepping stone at best. Hmm.
They don't care.
Okay.
Ooh, cigars.
Yeah, celebratory cigars. Oh, you know what? I probably want to run this way. Speaking of trains and machinimas, I cannot envision Rails of Island Valley whenever in my... I can't not envision Rails of Island Valley whenever In My Dreams by Dokken comes on satellite radio. We had a discussion about the song that became the theme song for Full Bucket Line, or for the Full Buccaneers, which was like the theme tune to like an American, like a PBS cartoon, which I sort of vaguely remembered. Can't believe it's already 8:45. This time has flown. Um, Shining Time Station or the other one? No, not that one. The other one. Presumably the other one. Okay, so this is an arrangement. And I did mention... Oh, shoot. We can probably get rid of this crossover. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this crossover. Because right now this is... Oh, you know, we can put in some lore here and have this stretch of track if I have this peel off of this, into there, straighten that, straighten this. DJ, are the police gonna come and batter down the door for you so you pay your toll? Okay. Okay. You don't have an easy pass? What are you doing?
I don't know. I would just avoid the tolls. More fun that way.
I mean, it is more fun to avoid tolls, and I am a proponent of avoiding tolls, like 9 times out of 10. But sometimes the only reasonable way to get there is the Mass Pike. And getting off the highway in New Hampshire for one exit gets old really fast. Okay, so we'll have it like this was the original platform. Then they built this extension, and they put a new platform there, which is now in the middle of the passing siding. I have no idea what that is. Easy Drive. There's a discount on the Mass Pike for mass residents, right? Oh, yeah, I don't know why I'm asking you. If you have like a mass Easy Pass, I think the Easy Pass, the tolls are lowered. And I think the same thing is with the Newport Bridge. This is a weird, like, little time saver doodad. And honestly, I think I'm going to leave this the way that it is and put in a little freight platform here, and we'll have two things instead of one. 2 sidings instead of 1. Maybe not the wisest thing, maybe it undercuts my visual storytelling, but I like it. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh yeah, Liberty's Kids. Yeah. It's one of these that I'm not sure I had ever heard of it. like had the vaguest recollection of that being a thing. Like I recognized the art style. I think I recognized one of the characters when we were talking about it, and I don't know. It was definitely a show. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to open the whatever. We'll do it like this. How about this? Okay. This, and we'll scoot this right up to the edge there. Definitely need a will not clear man on side of car sign. Or maybe I'll do that, and I'm going to do something that I almost never do, which is I'm going to grab a, like a door to stick on the side of that. So let's look here, let's grab door. Warehouse door generic. Tell me this is the right size. I never watched Shining Time Station, so Shining Time in my head is just a Thomas the Magic Railroad thing. I assume that it's the same song, but I might be totally wrong. But yeah, I watched a lot of those like local programming cartoons. Liberty's Kids was probably in my repertoire. I just don't remember it because I remember some of the other ones by name, like Between the Lions, and there was another one. There was another animated one that had like 3 kids. Can't remember what it was. But Between the Lions was a big one. I watched the hell out of that growing up. Okay. So we've got our garage door on this building, and we've got our platform, and you know what else I'm going to grab? I'm going to grab this right here. Nope, not grid. FMA factory covered bridge. I'm going to use it to string these 2 buildings together. You know what I want to see? I want to see Do Not Eat do a Trainz map thing. I want to see Roz build a Trainz map. I feel like he would have a whale of a time in a way that he can't in City Skylines. All right, let's try to connect this in a way where it covers a window completely. Although I have seen plenty of these bridges that are like super sloped. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm thinking of the ones at Mass Mocha, TJ. Although all the bridges that connect the different wings are just like all at weird angles. STS was literally just Americanized Thomas, but with live action skits. Even Mr. Conductor, played by Ringo Starr, and later George Carlin, was itty bitty. Alec Baldwin was, yeah, no, I'm thinking of the song. I always kind of, you know, Thomas and the Magic Railroad will always have a special place in my heart because it was probably the piece of Thomas content I was like most familiar with. Even though I did own several of the VHSs, and probably still do, they're probably in the basement, of the different episodes, and I remember having favorites and like not favorites. I remember the episode with Toby and the dam I was always terrified of as a kid and couldn't watch. I don't remember which ones I liked, but I guess I liked Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Okay. this area is going to be trees. I guess I'm starting with the scenery from here, because this is where we are. That's where we're starting. The dam was a trip. Yeah. The musical score is just wow. Yeah, that's probably why I was terrified. The music was too good. The music, like, I would, you know what? I probably need to go back and watch it again. I probably need to figure out what VHS tape it's on, dig it out of the basement, and watch it again. Um, all right, so we're gonna need some junk back here probably. This looks cool. This looks good. Pico, Ohio is about to be another Rolling Fork, Mississippi, or Mayfield, Kentucky. Huh. Speaking of Thomas, do you view fan-made stuff now and then? You might try the Dudley arc if you haven't. Unfortunately, I don't. I feel like I need to come back to what I was talking about at the beginning of this, which is so much of this content that, like, I respect. I like the people behind it. In some cases, I even, like, personally know the people behind it. It is almost out of my like wheelhouse. I feel like I have very little, I don't have a ton of time, sadly, to go through and sort of ingest and process content like that. And I don't want to put that kind of thing on in the background just to say that I've watched it. So instead, I just leave it as is, which is that I haven't, and that I probably won't. There's too much other stuff for me to ingest, for me to figure out, for me to, try to take in and then discuss. I wish I could do more, but I'm not gonna sort of push myself to. It's tough enough for me to wait. What? Oh. It's tough enough for me to jump in on some other projects and sort of give advice and things when I'm asked, sort of like really dig into someone's content for the sake of giving feedback. And that's when I'm not to say make an exception, but that's when I will sort of go out of my way and try to make that happen. Try to look at content, try to digest it and say something about it. Because that's when it matters, right? I'm probably not going to do it for fun. I'm probably not going to do it for, just because I want to put something on in the background. I want something familiar. I want something that I know I'm probably not going to pause and say, whoa, hold on, what? Let me rewind and, like, understand this again. On the flip side, when I'm, say, reading somebody's script that they wanted me to check out, I'm going to be stopping. I'm going to be making comments. I'm going to be, sort of rereading sections. I'll go down. I'll go back up. I will, spend time with it. I will figure out what my thoughts truly are. I'll try to make a reasonable and complete assessment. I don't know why I went all the way back there to just get this kind of dirt. I could have just got it right there. And and that's when I will, that's time I can dedicate, right? Other than that, I just can't. I wish I could, but I really can't. Certainly not if I'm going to get more trading cards out by the 22nd of next month. Oof. I guess I can breathe a little easy since I know that I'm not on the critical path right now. The critical path is in the hands of a couple of eBay sellers and the U.S. Postal Service trying to get me some photos that I just bought. I bought, I don't know what I paid, like $35 worth of photos. For $35 for 2 photos. One of them was $7, and that was pretty reasonable. The other one was over $20. And I was sitting here, I sat there and I started the listing for a while, and there was an or best offer. And I went, I've never done that before. I want to, right? I want to make an offer. I want to see if I can talk this guy down and not spend $20 on it. As I mentioned earlier, trading card budget's pretty limited. I don't want to start charging more. I don't want to, I don't want to, but also I can't really start digging into my own pockets too much. And I stared at it for a while, and then I thought about it, and then I was like, okay, it's going to be back and forth, probably. Like, I'm going to want it much lower than the price that's being offered. So, it'll probably be a substantial negotiation period, and I can't afford to wait. I can't afford to wait that time. I can't afford to do the back and forth. I need to just go for it. I need to just say screw it and buy it, because it's still like within the bounds of sort of an amount of money I have allocated, which I'm gonna have to write that down anyway. I need to go and write down the fact that I spent that much, because I can, like I said, include it in my taxes. I can do that. It's a thing that I should do, and that I had to do this year for the first time. And now I'm distracted because I want to make this look good, and I need to look at my other areas. I want the very thin grass, which is you. I feel like we're making headway in a way that we really haven't been previously. Yeah, I really wanted to do the or best offer. I mean, I thought the worst case scenario was it just ends up taking longer, which is probably true, because if it, it was a relatively not famous photo of a relatively not famous photo, or no, of a not famous locomotive from a not famous railroad. Like, I wasn't worried about this thing disappearing on us, and I didn't think that, obviously, even if you make an offer and the person doesn't like it, it's not like they can refuse to sell it to you if you just click buy it now. At least I'm pretty sure that's how eBay works. And I realized that there wasn't a lot of risk involved, but as far as timing went, I didn't want to risk it. Local campground looks like it was shelled heavily. My town was hit. The tornado was a wedge. Yikes. Alright. Godspeed. Stay safe. Okay. Now I want some really dirty dirt. Nope. Dirt. Oh, the good old dirt and leaves. Now, like I said, I am sort of bum rushing getting these cards done. I got another one done today. I think there are maybe 2 that are done. There's one other thing that I am looking into getting on all the cards, and it's going to be one of these things which is on the cards if I can find it, and not on the cards otherwise. Something that I'm not super concerned about, but something that I would like to display, and that is the works number of a given locomotive, because I want to present information, right? I want to present information. I want to make a product that is informational and good to look at and helpful to have, as just sort of an entry level into these locomotives. Of course, statistically, it's way, way, way beyond entry level. But, yeah, what I want, at the very least, even if the cards don't have perfect information, because sometimes it's just not available. Sometimes we've had to make compromises. Sometimes we had to make estimations. This batch more than any, because logging locomotives are... most of them have had a series of owners. And things get lost very quickly. Things come out in the wash, and you do not get them back. So with that in mind, I was, sort of thinking, okay, well, what can we do then to give people a springboard to maybe look into it more if they have resources we don't? Because I don't want us to claim to be the authority. I don't want us to give misinformation, but at the same time, we're putting numbers on cards. We need to get all 40 of them, and sometimes you have to stretch. Sometimes you have to sort of go into best guesses, either because you don't have like your hands on certain information, or certain information just doesn't exist anymore. You know, um, like I mentioned last episode, one of these cards is going to be the Porterfield and Ellis #4, more than likely. Porterfield and Ellis is the classic railroad with the 20% grade, and they would slalom up and down hillsides. PD is advertising to stay put and not smoke within. Gas leaks. Be careful. Yeah, be very careful. Um. Anyway. Yeah, we've had to consult with some folks who are, relatively speaking, experts on Baldwin's built in the 1880s, and sort of have them check out the like one picture that exists and the bare amount of information that we have, and make an assessment on what these locomotives probably would have had. I had to do a similar thing with one of the other enigmas, which is the Eagle Lake #1, or the Umbazuxus and Eagle Lake #1. The only 10-wheeler in the batch, and I was going to do one of the other ones, but 10-wheelers were relatively rare in Forest Service, so I wanted to get them represented because they were odd, and I picked a very odd one intentionally. But yeah, I wanted this one in particular, both because it is odd, it is a 10-wheeler, and it does mean something to me because it is a main engine. It's something that some of the folks in the Horsemen had planned to visit for a while, until we realized that it was 5 hours north of Phillips, which is already 5 hours north of civilization. Um, it's not the kind of thing that you just go visit on a whim on a weekend. It's not possible. Um, and you need some real chops to get up there. It's a hike, both literally and metaphorically. You know, um, so it's not something that we could just do on a day trip. So what's in the next batch of cards? Insert plug here. Yeah, well, it is all logging locomotives. I don't have the official list yet because there are still some things we are figuring out. Um, the the Umbazuxus, I believe, um, locomotive was one of those that we hadn't quite figured out, and ooh, what is that? Well, what did I just see? I saw something huge. Ace Hardware Distribution Center. Holy crap! Look at that. I'm just gonna put that aside with these two things and this. Oh wait, did I want that over here? No, no, these were just here for. Let's put those aside. What are the chances of getting those 2662Ts in South Dakota in the batch? Oh, I'm glad you asked. So, one of the 2662s from Black Hill Central is something that was almost a guarantee to me, and I was going to go with 110 originally. But I instead ended up going with 108. And the reason was because we already have other Weyerhaeuser lumber representation in the batch. At least we plan on it, I shot off an email to Martin E. Hansen, who is a incredibly storied photographer and photo collector, who has a lot of photos of these locomotives. Oh, that's a cool bridge. I do like that bridge. Um, because he has photos of these. Um, it doesn't have track on it, so I can just throw down. It's got invisible track on it, so I guess I assume if I connect track to it, it'll, do the thing. Yeah, look at that. I don't know if I'm going to use that. Bridge objects are always a little troublesome, but yeah, that's cool that you rode behind 110 though. I'd love to get out to Black Hills. What year was it? Did they have 108 in service yet? Because I know that is a relatively recent development. But yeah, 108 was originally Potlatch Lumber Co., which was, I believe, a subsidiary of Weyerhaeuser, but wasn't, it didn't say Weyerhaeuser on the side. I want to grab a picture of it while it was in Weyerhaeuser service, or while it was in Potlatch service. Ideally, like immediately. I think 208 just went into restoration. Oh yeah, so it would have just arrived, I think. That's still cool that you got up there. That's a really, really neat place. I'd love to visit someday. Maybe like the only reason to go to South Dakota. But yeah, they have a pretty nice livery as well. The blue tanks are pretty cool. I don't want junk cars. Junk element 2. These look like, excuse me. These look like something you would see in Fallout. Yeah, this is clearly just made out of sheet metal. It's not the kind of junk that I'm looking for. But 110 and 108 are very, very similar locomotives. They aren't identical, and they weren't identical. They were, as mentioned, Potlatch 24, and 10, and thus 108, was built as a coal burner, which is really unusual for the logging locomotives out there. Derelict helps too. That's a good one. I'm just gonna swing through all these. What is this? Scrap. Scrap works. Sometimes I'm just staring at the image and tapping down, tapping down, tapping down. And I'm not really paying attention to the fact that, the things that I'm looking through are not, things that I'm looking through are definitely not scrap items. What is this? Scrap 55. Oh wow, that's really small. That's like little pieces of stone. That's interesting. Okay, junk car. What is this? A line of junked cars. Scrap loader, skyscraper. And this is just like a dumpster. Which, I'll put that over there. And in fact, I think I want to grab one of these sort of piles. Goodness gracious.
I know, I can finally get the call for this.
Oh, jeez. Skyscraper, 10 poly. That's low. Oh, this is kind of... I wanted to toss one of these down and then just sink it way into the ground. Okay. I mean, everywhere needs just, like, some junk. Especially for an old railroad like this, where they would have been piling crap up outside for 100 years at this point. But anyway. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that the logging 2662s were represented. I picked what I did because I thought it added a little bit of extra variety to the batch. Although originally, like, Black Hills 110 was my first option for that. It was the first thing I thought of. But we definitely needed to represent all of the sort of staple locomotives of logging. And that meant 2662s, and it meant Mikados, pretty much. Most of the old line used to be CB and Q. Keyed into the current BNSF made at Edgemont, South Dakota. Yeah, I understand that they are rail locked completely, which is a bummer. It's a lot of work to get something out there and then get it back, or get it back if you were to want it back. It's a lot of work to get something out there. I want like a really basic tree. I want a tiny, tiny tree, like a scraggly tree. Tree spindly brown. Let's do that. Tree stickish group. Oh, shoot. No, let's not do that. And we'll put in some junk there, and we'll also put in... How about, like, a bunch of ties? Ties stack. I want a big tie stack. I don't want a small tie stack. I want, yeah, there we go. New ties scenery. And then maybe some rails. Rail shed, JR, rail track scenery, ties scenery. 30-inch rails scenery. Yeah, that's close enough. Okay. But yeah, we don't have a total final list. Again, we're reaching out to some experts in the field, as it were, about data for some things. If you ever visit Mount Rushmore, if you're lucky, you can hear the 108, you can hear the Black Hills Central engine. That's really cool. I guess I didn't realize they were that close. Mount Rushmore is neat. I'm not sure if I would bother with the detour, but it is neat. I'm just I can't imagine I would be spending all that long in South Dakota in the first place. I might be like in Utah or something. I would be visiting my good friend O'Gillies and make a day trip or a single night or whatever out there. Only a mile and a half away. Yeah. I mean, that's neat. It's cool that it's that close in what is relatively a big state. I mean, everything's a big state to me, but you know what I mean. Oh, grab me the grass, please. Okay. And this. Why is it both of the only tourist attractions in South Dakota are a mile and a half from one another?
So you don't have to go all the way across the
I guess, yeah, they must have planned it that way. Jeez. Okay. I'm trying to remember, like, I'm trying to take inspiration from the time that I spent at the CRRM in terms of how, like, messy the area is. And I don't even necessarily mean with junk. I mean with like grass and trees and sort of empty space that is full of not junk, but not really anything of note either. Um, Part of me wants to throw in a dead track here with something decaying on it. And what I should be doing is putting in a little gravel walkway here. Maybe not the same kind of gravel, but something. So that people can actually get from the parking lot to their job. The other thing, though, is not everything is a railroad museum. Places don't necessarily take in more locomotives and cars and equipment when they don't have any space to put them, unless they're going to be scrapped and you're trying to save the history. Yeah, there we go. That looks cool, though. Hi, Matt. We were just talking about the Eagle Lake locomotives, because naturally we were talking about the trading card batch, which I'm sure you saw that I went ahead and put that one together with the stats that we knew and the stats that we figured out, or, you know, sort of filled in the gaps with the similar locomotive, the other Schenectady 10-wheeler, but we may end up getting more data on them. If we do have the opportunity to buy something, I probably will. At like 25 minutes, I should work on the Eagle Lake one. No, work on the other one. You gotta work on the see if you can figure out that number. Although for the see if you can figure out that number for the E&P boys. Yeah, there you go. Because that's, you know, that's what I'm most curious about, and I feel like even if it's inconclusive, right? We should just go with that number that we have, because I think I read the messages that you received from the expert, right? And I didn't get the impression that it seemed like that definitely wasn't the number. It was just a note about it being different. I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood. But I suppose my point is, even if it seems like it's in the ballpark, then go with it. Because it's going to be an estimation no matter what. And I think this is one of the things where, unless a miracle occurs, we will never have better numbers than this. And I'm not even saying that as like, yeah, no one's ever going to be able to prove us wrong, so what does it matter? Although that's not an invalid interpretation. What I'm saying is, of course, we will never know if we are right. We will never know if we are wrong. It's just going to be one of those things that we have given it our best, you know, we've given it the best college try. We've found the closest thing to the answer that we could probably ever know. And there you go. Part of me wants to make this track a display track. But I'm really against having display locomotives on this route. Display items. I mean, one of the other things that I've learned in the course of making the trading cards is that quite a few railroads just sort of stuffed and mounted engines, even in the 50s. They just would put them outside the headquarters. I mean, the Weyerhaeuser engine, the Potlatch Lumber Company engine that we were just talking about, was stuffed and mounted outside the Weyerhaeuser headquarters in the 50s. And I was a little bit surprised, but I suppose if you've got nothing else to do with it, why not just stick it outside? I suppose it shouldn't be that much of a stretch, considering the COG was basically entering the transition era like 10 years ago, and they stuffed and mounted, I think, 2 of their engines, or maybe 3. So it's just a thing that happens. Alright, I'm trying to figure this out. I actually really like this. I'm really liking where this is going, and I'm happy to get the scenery done for the sort of offices and everything. I think we could use another tree here. Well, that's interesting. Holy bridge, Batman. Not entirely sure what to do with this. There are also, like, multiple different versions. I don't know why I have all of these, first of all. Second of all, I don't know what I would ever do with those. Basic streetlight. Dead spruce. Yeah, we were gonna put only dead trees out here. Let's do a sugar maple. The BHCRR also has another engine, though. It's on display, and I think it's a 460. Oh, the Black Hill Central. Is it a 460? I thought it was a Mikado. Hold on. Black Hills Central Railroad. I'm looking this up because I want to know. It has. It's a 262. Okay. I was close. You were close. We were both not quite on it. They have 3 262s and 2 2662s, so you know where their loyalties lie. And I do want to do a prairie. We have one that we're looking into, but we don't have all the right numbers on it, or we don't have a photo of it in the condition that we do have all the right numbers for it. And that presents a bit of a headache. Okay, let's do this. Google Maps also shows a center cab locomotive. Yeah, no, they have 2 diesels. I don't know what the other one is, but it's something. So there's a 113 in there. Thankfully, there is not. Thankfully for my sanity. You know, I don't actually think there is a 113 in this batch, which is fine, because obviously I'm saving them all for the Oopsal 113 batch of trading cards. What I don't have yet is a good name for this batch. It's just currently batch 4. I've been calling it Pogger Loggers, but I don't want to steal that from Milky, and also I just don't. I don't know, that name does not spark joy in the way that it could or perhaps should. I hate to say it because it's so weird for me to use this as a justification for this hobby of mine, but it seems so unprofessional. And like I said last time, I don't want to go with Legends of Logging. I mean, the Forest Dwellers just came to mind, and I think that's an interesting one. I could go with the Forest Dwellers. Let's see. Why do these seem translucent? Okay, and how about some lumber or pallets? Call it "Would you like trading cards?" Yeah, I mean that's kind of funny. Can't really deny that. I will be chuckling about that for longer than I should. So Pat, I'd like to thank you for that. Um, what is this? Oh, lumber shed. Kelly getting wood. Nice. Also not professional. Very funny though. Oh, and it jumped me to the bottom. I didn't realize it would do that. That explains a lot. Um, I kind of want palletized lumber. I was just gonna stick a pallet of lumber in the back here, and just sit it on the ground. Just sit it. Nope. Just sit it on the ground. There we go. What I wanted was just pallets leaning up against the building, but that's not. I don't think that's reasonable. Um, and part of me wants to actually put a bunch of trees here. Not sure if they would have been cut or not. And this whole area is going to be like empty industry. If I had maybe less than half an hour left, I would consider just like staging a bunch of engines and doing glamour shots. I don't know if I have a bunch of engines. I'm kind of curious as to what I do have, though, because I have V&T logos. Where did I get these? Do we have these because of MPS? All the V&T engines?
I think so, yeah.
I did not realize I had these. Do we have any tenders for them? Because these are all locomotives. Unless they're maybe under tender, because I know that happens sometimes. It would be really neat if I made this whole railroad run on V&T stuff, though. Oh, and York. Oh, that's York? I thought it was going to be... Okay. No, I expected something that said tender. I do have a lot of steam locomotives now, though. I don't know what to do now. I don't know how I have just the locomotives and not the tenders. Gorian defeated number 40. Yeah, that'll do it. That looks good. Oh, there we go. No, that's not right. That's Las Vegas and Tanopa. I saw V&T and I went, ah, yes, neuron activation. Uh, I don't know what to do in this case. Why don't I have tenders? VMR stuff, melee, UPS 4 tender, Big Boy tender, SP tender. Pretty sure you can get those engines and tenders from Carson Car Shops. I need them on the DLS. And the question is, why don't I have them right now if I've already downloaded the locomotives because of a content pack for MPS? So I need to go find them on the DLS, which they are somewhere, or else they wouldn't be in the content pack. But why is it like this? Either way, I don't really need those. I feel like I feel like I feel like they might be a little out of date, just a touch. I saw 442 and I thought that was a locomotive as well. We get some Boeings. Be careful. Boston and Albany Pullman, which I think I've actually used these for stuff. Yeah, I've definitely used those on a train or two because those are pretty good. Um, yeah, all of this is DLS. Everything on this route is DLS. And unless you see a red number come up in the bottom, the thing I'm looking at is on the DLS. Um, so we have this guy, which this guy looks awesome actually. Or they're at least packaged. You know, they're downloadable if you have the content. If you have what are the things? The things, you know, the stuff. Um, I wish I could open these doors because what I want to do is drive a locomotive through the closed doors. It always bugs me when that's not set up. Yeah, so you can see that the B and MP4 stuff, that's K&L, so that's not showing up. We have our Flying Yankee. So there's that. We've got Bell, but that doesn't really belong on this railroad at all. The Q3 Class 280, which, if I remember right, we were having problems with a lot of 280s. I can't remember what the hell it was. I can't remember if it was a different engine spec. But I was having headaches with Mikados, and I cannot remember why. I think if I remember right, I started throwing down Mikados somewhere just to get a feel for what I could use and what I couldn't. This is a Pacific, right? No, this is a Mikado. That's the Gory Undefeated Mikado. Then we have the Georgia one. And we have this guy. Now, why was I having problems with Mikados? I think it might have been a dependencies thing. I think it must have been a dependencies thing, and that might be better now. Ben Neal's stuff on the deal. Yeah, no, I mean, Ben Neal always makes great stuff. There have been so many headaches with locomotives and things in the past, I don't even know where to begin in terms of figuring this out again. Range 1 of this company would be the 242T, 280 with knuckles, gondola, converted single 40 dome take car, boxcar, combine. But I mean, I'll put these down. I don't know what it is about this. Oh, never mind. You look different. Can you fit in the roundhouse? Yes, just barely. Okay. Yeah, just give him a smooch. Hi Mew. It is Thursday. I'm trying to think, what would this railroad have? Probably basically no. Probably, you know, basically no diesels. These Mikados would almost be big for it. Standard gauge would only have the 262s T's from the BHCRR. What do you mean? I missed something. C48. Oh, I bet I have that around here somewhere. CL44. Look at you. Look at you. You're Lil. I can't use you. But look how cute he is. CM060 again. Oh wait, no. Look at that. Look at this. Colorado Midland boy. This definitely fits this rinky-dink little derp. I love me some Trainz Forge. I was going on about them earlier, but they're great. We've got D10s. These are on the DLS, I guess. I have them from the DLS. Oh, it's got to load first. Yeah, we would definitely have some of these. Look how close this thing is to just smashing into the top of the doors. Let's put you outside. Love me a D10. Coal burner, coal burner. Make sure these. I'm making sure these are all coal burners. Yep. Okay. I want to fill this. What is this? What are you? And why do you? Whoa! I don't. Oh my god! This thing is so low poly. This is great though. I love. We have the derpiest logging 282. I I have no use for it here, but I'm glad it exists. I'm glad I have it downloaded. We also have Shays, sort of like Cass. We definitely don't need a Kanawa. We definitely don't need this. Immense for this railroad. Oh my god. Glenbrook. Tahoe. That's cool. DL&G Baldwin. This is 3-foot gauge, isn't it? Dock shore to ship grain loader. Oh. Oh, it's a thing. It goes on track. Holy crap, that's awesome. Ooh, little dupe. Bring a tank car. DNRGW. That's narrow gauge. DNRG. This is also narrow gauge, isn't it? Yes. DNRGW 1871 Lima, Berkshire. I don't know about that, Chief. Drivable Steam Schooner 1. I like to see that. DSP&P, that's all 3-foot gauge. DNRGW SC48. Okay. Wait. Black jacket, black cylinders. There we are. Everybody knows they were green. Oh shoot, it's too close to the thing. You ever heard of the Rio Grande? Spin that guy around, put him over here. This is starting to look more and more like a railroader save. Let's see, what the hell else do I have? Move that out of the way really quick. Oh, wait a minute. I have working F7s now? Oh, we can finally do the Q&A! When did I get these? Oh, shoot, I need to talk to TBA. Okay. Do I get a mountain? A light mountain. It's honestly kind of big for this railroad. Oh, shoot, I don't want 2 of the engine. I want one of the... Where'd the tender go? Why is it 1.0? Why is there no tender? Hold on. Just give me the friggin' C48 tender. How bad does that look? Looks fine. Okay. Looks fine. Oh, I saw Eagle River and I thought it was Eagle Lake and I got very excited. Oh my god, it's got banners on it. Can I turn off the banners? Oh, okay, I can. I have no use for this, but you know what? I'll take it. EBT stuff. I don't know what the hell is stuff. Oh, it's Empire Builder stuff. That's hot. Okay, I definitely have that from like DLC. See, look, coal's broken. Um, EMDs, don't need any of those. Milwaukee. I know I said about not having a switcher, but having one of these around would be kind of on brand. Or not having a diesel, right? I'll move this guy over here. See, here's the thing. I don't actually know how many locomotives... Okay, we don't want... I didn't realize that... Oh, these are the... Ooh. God damn it. Stop with that. Stop doing that. These are the ones. These are the Atlantics, the Gilson Eastern Atlantics that Evan made. How cool is that? It's made for us. It says Gilson Eastern on it. That makes me so happy. It doesn't belong here, but it makes me very happy. Gilpin 2 Russell, good old Gilpin 2 Russell, can't go wrong with that. Great Northern S2 484, we don't need that. H4, we already used that elsewhere. Harriman style 460 10-wheeler. Would have been the model for Mark. K&L didn't save the day there. Ooh. Look at that. We've got a Hoosy thing. I like that. There's all the IHRR junk. Wasn't I supposed to send somebody that? Who was asking about the IHRR stuff? Oh my god, East. Just had to scroll past all the Shinkansen stuff. Weeb. Alien Del... Oh, okay, that's another thing. That don't need a Burke, don't need a Texas. Don't really want this. Or this, or that. Oh! Oh, it's 30 inch. Damn. USRA Light 482. I really need to speak to somebody who understands geometry. Yeah, I don't know how to do what you're doing. I'll be honest, I don't. LRT, LV, and T. Wait, these are standard gauge? Yeah, they are. Okay. Oh, it's a coal-fired engine, though. Vegas and Tonopah. Tonopah? Tonopah? I think it's Tonopah. Another Mikado, which now I have them all. Oh, I think it was an engine spec thing. I think that was my hang-up. Which, that's my hang-up a lot of the time. Where did I get this? Why don't I have a tender for it? NEB&W 260. Why is there no tender? R1 Mountain. I have loco wheelbase and driver wheelbase. I'm sure by using those numbers I can find overall with the picture, but I don't know how. I mean, I have an idea, but it's not a good idea. You sort of use the thing as at North Pacific Coast, Mason Bogey. Okay. You sort of use the one as a measuring stick for the other. I don't entirely know. That assumes it's sort of linear, and I don't know. Wait, what the heck? Heavy 282. Is this different than the other ones? It do be kind of a chonker, though. If you want a Light Pacific, there's the SNA 750 that Ben put on the DLS. I think I have that down somewhere. I didn't really want to do a Pacific on this, because it just didn't seem... it didn't seem like something this railroad would have. But if they have one mountain, maybe they'll have one Pacific. One mountain and one diesel, maybe they have one Pacific. What railroad is this? This is a Granger. This is the I'm trying to figure out roster for the Mansfield Branch Railroad. So I should be looking. I wish we had more like GN stuff. I should be trying to find that GN Prairie. That's the Southern Pacific engine. That's Bell. This is L&N 152. Do we not have 750? I thought I did. I was thinking of this. 460. New York Central 460 10-wheeler. Honestly, the 10-wheelers are probably more than acceptable for mixed duty stuff. Oh, I have 989. Of course I do. We're going to jump back to... God, it's a long walk. Okay. Pretty sure there's a total of 2 Great Northern steam engines for Trainz. Yeah, and I have both of them. And one of them is the Pacific that I'm already using the hell out of on the other railroad, on the Gilson Eastern, so I don't want to double dip. And the others have, yeah, the other one, well, I'm using both of them on the Gilson Eastern is the thing. Kind of want to get rid of this derp. So we've got, let's see. Let's get things in order here, because we've got a token diesel locomotive, which honestly probably wouldn't even be that. It would probably be a road locomotive. It would probably even be an Alco. It might even be something that they got from another railroad, which would make sense. This guy is a heavy mic. That's a consolidation. Where's my other 060? That's you. Probably don't need 2, but I like having the old one around. Let's move the Mikado down here. Let's move the 10-wheeler over here. And then we have 2 other 10-wheelers. That's you or 1. Scoot that over. Put the consolidation here. Put this here. Defo 10s, Connies, and Mikes will work. You could work in a singular light Pacific, but you'd probably need a good case if you're going larger than either a K11 or SNA 750. Yeah, right? And the only case I could think of is that this railroad is pretty flat, you know? It is not a mountain climber in the slightest. It exploits the plains that are sort of in the middle of the peninsula in an area where the winds come in from the north. They bring in moisturized air, like moisture-laden air into the interior of the peninsula, and then it just dumps down rain. And so we've got these, and then we've got 1 mountain type, which is really, I mean, we don't even really need that. I think having all of these, and then either 1 road diesel of some description, or a, oh my god, I know what this railroad needs. L2? Yeah, okay, we do have those. I know what this railroad needs. I just want to scroll through everything before I get to it. Or I would have to go back up and get to it. We're at R, right? Reading Crusader coach. No. I don't know why that's broken. RGS Rutland H6, which I assume is another Mikado. Yes, it is. Yeah, the mail and the express engine. Sounds like, yeah. I mean, I probably could use a Pacific. I wouldn't not want one. These Atlantics. SP stuff. SRRL rail bus standard gauge? All my friends know the low rider. Okay. Gotta find an excuse to use that somewhere. TVRR. Tamarel's Veil? No. Type 6 PCC MBTA. Or Type 6 MBTA. I've got all the MBTA locomotives. Or trolleys, rather. TNP, Uinta Railway stuff. 080, 282. More 080s. If we don't have this downloaded, I'm going to see if I can find it on the DLS. Some people there, if anyone has guessed what this is, there is a diesel locomotive. I want to see if we have it on the DLS. You have like 30 seconds to guess it. If somebody guesses it, I will give you a free nomination for future trading card packs. So, hold on, where's my freaking timer? And with that, I'm actually going to go and see if I can look it up on the DLS where you guys can't see it. So I'm going to tip over this timer and we'll see what it is. Oh, right, I need to actually look on the DLS and not just what I have installed. I don't know if such a thing is available on here. Oh my god, it is. Oh my god, it is. I have to save the game so I can download it. Let me do that really quick. Let me save. Save. Mew is throwing out ideas. Mew's throwing out ideas. And he hasn't got it. And the time is up. I don't know if I don't know how long the delay is, but you'll know if you got it right. What's the group of engines doing? I was talking to some friends. I'm trying to figure out locomotives for this for the short line here. No, let me download this. It's gonna take 8. It's a one-of-a-kind diesel locomotive. And if you know me, and if you're on the Discord, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say something. It's just going to take a second to download. What I'm really impressed with is I spelled the builder right. It took me a couple of tries, but I didn't have to look it up. It's probably not. It's not going to say what it is right before it shows up on the list. I feel like I should just sort of paste it in as a surprise. But congratulations, sailor, you made it to Friday. I want this railroad to have the GM and Oboe mobile. So bad. Okay, so do I squeeze in another? I didn't either. I didn't think. I thought there was no way. I thought there was no way that I looked it up, and oh hey, there's 750. That I looked it up and we got a hit, but unbelievably, we got the Ingalls shipbuilding. Okay, and we've got our one Light Pacific. So we've got. Yeah, let's get rid of you. And Boatmobile. I'm gonna scoot them all back, and then I'm gonna do a little glamour shot of the area. Well, actually, yeah, I mean, it's already 10 o'clock, and I have got trading cards to make. So I'm gonna just scoot everybody back into here. And I should have set all of these to seed instead of... Damn it. I should have set all these to seed. Should have been working on a different layer. Seed. Wish I could set these all at once, but alas. Seed. Save changes. Nope, already did that one. Fifth one. Seed. Save changes. You. Seed. Save changes. Seed. Save changes. This one is sand. Save changes. I think... Okay, so this one, and then this little guy, which tempted to just put him out front, and then I'll put the other diesel back. Because if I put him, like, oh, I can't. There's not enough room. For the end of the stream, have a good night, y'all. I know some folk ain't gonna tonight. Yeah. There we go. We've got all the locomotives for the railroad here. Probably the most steam-heavy railroad on the peninsula, sort of by volume, you know? Because there is no reason for... There is no reason for this railroad to own... Like, they just wouldn't be able to get their hands on diesels, really, is the shtick, right? They might be able to get something from a random one-off builder that's willing to do stuff on the cheap because they don't really know what they're doing. No offense, Ingall's shipbuilding, but you are a boat company. Or they'll get something secondhand, which doesn't seem to have happened yet. I thought about giving them an RS3 from the Volga Mountains, but the Volga Mountains probably just isn't getting rid of... Like, nobody's getting rid of diesels yet. So... There probably is part ownership by the Gilson Eastern, so maybe they would end up with Gilson Eastern stuff. But right now they seem to have their own fairly distinctive roster of locomotives. And I honestly might... sort of slim this down, right? Or standardize things a little bit. I might go with, you know, multiple of one instead of a smattering. Any diesels they're getting rid of will be the failures, right? Exactly. 2 060s, a consolidation, 3 Mikados, a mountain, and a Pacific, which, you know, probably could slim that down to 2 Mikados, 2 consolidations, 2 10-wheelers of the same type, this 060, this 060, and the Bowmobile. And then the mountain type and the Pacific, which would have been one-offs. It depends how long they've been an independent railroad, and it also depends how long, sort of, like how far back their locomotive purchases go, if they really did buy anything new, or if they bought a lot of secondhand stuff. I know I'm missing a lot of, like, the 4-mile short line sort of aspect. Everything on this route gets out of hand really fast in terms of size, but I don't know. It is what it is. Oh, hold on. No? Hold on. I can't remember what... Oh, it's the Hayes bumper. That's what it is. I'll put this up here. Yeah, part of me wants to, like, I want to stage this, right? I want to have this be the welcome to the uh, Mansfield Branch Railroad. And yeah, part of me wants to just take this guy and put him out here, and then grab another diesel or something. It'd be nice if you could re-letter everything, like you can in some other games. I know that's sort of an advanced prospect for a game of this age. It's not from the era where you would do that, but it's nice to consider for future content makers. And like I say, I don't want to end now. I was really on a roll, and I want to continue fiddling around in this area here, which I really like the way this engine terminal has come out, and I'm looking forward to messing with it more. But and you guys, for the watchers of the stream and the players of the VOD, you can feel free to replace this guy with something. You can feel free to pick one of these two types of 10-wheeler. Should I get a second consolidation and pick one of these types of Mikado, which I know that these two are the same type of Mikado. Do I keep the Mountain? Do I keep the Pacific? I think the Pacific does stay, after all. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. This is the Admiral.